Hello, welcome back to the Hidden Sidings project and to update number 1. I have made a start, so I guess that must mean I'm now committed. Or maybe I should be committed. One of my earlier decisions was that the project should not take too long, but looking at the small amount of progress I have made so far, I think that was wishful thinking. Some of the things I've done don't seem to add much to the totality of the project, but I think they are all necessary. So let's have a look at progress so far. The large white plastic box nearest the camera has been slimmed down and moved nearer to the back scene. The front of the box is now flush with that of its neighbour, which is important as I intend putting some sort of retaining wall or arches along the front of the boxes. An unforeseen bonus of this is that there will now be a better clearance between the end of the box and the sharp radius 1 curve, and therefore less danger of my longer coaches being scratched as they pass this area. The wiring that was horribly visible coming out of the nearest box has been moved rearwards and now won't be able to be seen once the arches are in place. The wires on the nearest point motor have also been tidied up. The wires protruding from the second box have been left as they were for the moment, although I may move them once I start adding scenery. For the time being, I have done nothing to the 2 long sidings at the front of the baseboard, as A, it makes sense to work on the rear of the board first, and B, I'm still waiting for inspiration to strike on what to do with this section. I have therefore also left a couple of the surface mounted point motors as they were, with their wires far too obviously visible, for the time being anyway. The 2 shorter sidings towards the rear of the layout have had to be moved forward a little, as I wanted the buildings behind them to be full relief rather than low relief. It's just my personal view, but if space allows, I think that full relief buildings just look that much better. By slightly moving the sidings, I've managed to find enough space for the Metcalfe industrial buildings that I wish to place here. The consequence is that the longer siding has had to be shortened a little to avoid fouling the main line, but I don't think that'll matter. I mentioned in my previous video that I would be using Metcalfe card kits for the buildings, as they not only look good, but they were apparently easy to assemble. I have started building some and must admit I really like them, so much so that I found constructing them rather addictive. I got a bit sidetracked and have already built several. The instructions that come with the kits are superb, the kits go together really well, and the finished buildings look excellent. For a while, therefore, progress on the layout ground to a halt during this time, hence I've not got on quite as far as I would have liked. I will be using buildings from the Stone Effect industrial buildings range in this area, and to give some idea of the effect, I have positioned a completed old factory kit roughly where it may finish up. More buildings will be added here as the project progresses. The most obvious change from the previous video is that the baseboard has now had a wash of dirty brown colour. Cheap acrylic paint was brushed on, and the whole area now looks rather, well, blotchy. But brown. I will at some future stage be covering this up using scenic scatter in various shades, so this dirty wash should just be seen as some sort of an undercoat. I did think, rather naively perhaps, that I might be able to get away without ballasting the track, as this is my least favourite part of the model railway hobby. The acrylic brown paint has gone some way towards improving the appearance of the trackwork, but the coverage is patchy and the previous track plan still shows through, so I think I'm going to have to start ballasting. This of course means that my previous idea of a quick project has now been thrown in the bin, and I'm now on a much longer time frame. However, the constructional side of the hobby is the part that I enjoy most, and I don't have any time deadlines to meet, so I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and get on with it. It does of course mean that the next update could be a little while before it sees the light of day. But until then, that's all for now. See you next time.